Hi, my name is Lisa Prindle, and I'm here graduating with my bachelor's degree in special education and general education. I'm so happy to be here among all of you today. I have worked in education for 20 years with the dream of becoming a teacher. Throughout that time, I had many reasons to give up. I had gone to school for medical prior, but it was not my passion. I started working in education in 1999 in San Diego. I first started as a volunteer and then moved on to becoming a para. My oldest child, RJ, who is now 27, was having behavioral problems in school, and I was being called nearly every day to be with him. At that time, my son had the typical ADHD diagnosis. It wouldn't be till later, when he was in high school, that he would be identified as ASD, or autism spectrum disorder. I worked with him with his behaviors and stood by the motto, it's okay to be mad or frustrated, but it's not okay to be mean. I am now able to utilize this experience to help my special education students as well. In 2005, we adopted 4 children out of the foster care system. 2 of the 4 suffered with the reactive attachment disorder and fetal alcohol syndrome. It was very difficult to parent these kiddos, but we did all we could, and I continued to work with students whenever I could. Once most of my children had graduated, I decided it was time for me to finally get my teaching degree. I had enjoyed being in the classroom so much. My biggest inspiration has been Erin Gruwell from the Freedom Riders. I recently read the Freedom Riders to my classroom of students with significant needs. They are considered the at-risk students and are living a constant uphill battle against poverty and negative influences. At one point, toward the end of my last year as a para, there was also a moment where I felt bullied and discouraged myself and was questioning whether I was cut out for this after all. But then, as I read one of Miss Gruwell's diary entries, I began to cry right in front of my students. She had people who also criticized her. She was labeled because of how she dressed. She was called too enthusiastic, too preppy. She used her own money, like me, to buy books and take her at-risk students on field trips so that they could have the same experiences as the other students. She writes, "Then my hypocrisy hit me. All year long, I had encouraged my students to avoid using labels like all and other gross generalizations. I even had people who were the victims of stereotyping describe the dangers of labeling groups of people. If I let a few other teachers chase me away from Wilson, the kids would be the ultimate losers. They would think that I, like so many others, had bailed on them. I realized I needed to finish what I had started." After reading this, I realized that, like Miss Gruwell, my motivation has always been my students. So I kept going, kept trying, and held my head high. I completed that school year, saying goodbye to my students as their para, and returned this fall as their student teacher. I don't know where I'll ultimately end up, but I do know that, like Erin, I chose these kids because I still believe that any child can learn. Oh, and that child of mine on the spectrum went on to serve 4 years in the United States Marine Corps, including a deployment to Afghanistan. He finished his AA in criminal justice and is at UCCS majoring in criminal justice and forensic psychology. I get a little emotional. Whew. He just needed someone who didn't give up on him, someone who held him to higher standards. I will continue to hold even the student with the lowest IQ to the same high standard. They are the reason I became a teacher and why I am the way I am today. These kids are all my kids. I will be there for them now as their teacher, and they will know they have a safe and welcoming place to come in my classroom. So, I'll leave you with this one final thought. In order to get to this point, graduation, everyone in this room has developed his or her own personal motivation. Our one reason we didn't get up. Mine is my students. What is yours? Thank you and congratulations, class of 2019, for never giving up. Thank you.